All right, so where this is leading us now is now into proving triangles are similar. So we're going to go over a couple theorems or postulates that involve that. The first one is our angle-angle similarity. So the way we write that is A with the similar sign. And what it means is if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the triangles are similar to each other. So you need to have two of them. So if you don't have two, see if you can figure out what the two, if there are two that are possible. And if you can, then you can prove that the triangles are similar. All right, so the first four here, it says determine whether the triangles are similar. If so, we're going to write a similarity statement and we're going to explain our reasoning. Okay, so if we look at these two triangles, we see two numbers. They obviously don't match up. One of them does. So L is congruent to M, but we don't know. The 48 obviously doesn't equal the 75, but we do know that all angles add up to 180. So we can figure out what those missing ones are. So we know that angle K plus 48 plus 57 equals 180. And that gets us angle K equaling 75 degrees. Well, once we see that, then we see that K is the same as P. All right, which got me my two angles. So yes. Determine whether they're similar. So yes, they're similar by angle-angle similarity. So that works. And then we're going to write ourselves a similarity statement. So triangle something is similar to triangle something, just like we did for congruence, but now it's with similar. And again, the order is important. So look at what you marked. We marked L and K. So I'm going to start with those two. I'm going to go L, K, J, and then I'm going to match it to the ones on the other triangle, which would be M, P, Q. So we determined whether they were similar. We said why, so angle-angle similarity, and then we wrote our similarity statement. Okay? Looking at B, we don't see anything that's marked, but that's not necessarily meaning that these don't work. So first thing you see is you have vertical angles. So I can add those in there. I know those two angles are congruent to each other. So vertical angles are congruent, so I can add that notion. Not only that, but you see the parallel symbol right here. This line is parallel to this line. There's a reason for that, because if that is parallel, then you have alternate interior angles. So alternate interior angles are congruent to each other. So from a diagram that had nothing marked, now we have two angles that are marked. So yes, these are similar by angle-angle similarity. And then if we're going to write our similarity statement, again, go with what you marked. So SRX is going to match with SWT for that. All right, with C, we've got our right angles in here, so those match up, but the 44 and the 47 don't. So let's figure out A. So angle A plus 44 plus 90 equals 180. So angle A comes out to being 46. Okay, so I have one set of angles that's congruent, but the other two are not. Therefore, these are not similar. And you can just say angles not congruent. And if they're not similar, you can't write a similarity statement. So you just explain why they're not similar. So in this case, the angles are not congruent to each other. All right, for D, D is another one where we have nothing marked. So again, many people just say, oh, doesn't work. But you see these parallel lines. So these lines right here are parallel to each other. And if we know we have lines that are parallel, we can say that this angle equals this angle because they're corresponding. And this angle equals this angle because they're corresponding. So we have corresponding angles are congruent. So again, don't just cancel it out if nothing is marked. You have vertical angles to add, and if you have anything indicating parallel, it is there for a reason. So don't just think it's just there to be there. All right, so yes, these are similar by angle-angle similarity. And then when we write our similarity statement, we're doing little triangle. So I'm going to do PQL, and then I'm going to do the big triangle, JKL. And that's who matches up with who. And again, based on the markings. All right, on the back here, it says determine whether the triangles are similar. Same idea. So we got 75, we got 39. I'm going to add it up, and I'm going to do angle B plus 75 plus 39 equals 180, and I find out that angle B is 66. I then see I have 75 here. I have my 66, which now matches with this guy right here. So you can go further and find E, but it's not needed. So yes, these are similar by angle, similarity. And again, we're writing a similarity statement. So go with what you marked. So if I have A, B, C, A matches with D, B matches with F, and C goes with E for that. All right, over here, the only other angle I can find would be the one next to the 112 because they add up to 180. And what you're going to find is those in the two triangles, the angles are never going to match up. So, no, they're not similar. And you can just say angles not congruent. All right. So the second part of this is going to now lend it to us to actually figuring out missing side lengths. Okay, so when we do this, you have to make sure that when you're writing your proportions, you're being consistent. So in the case with 3 and 4, we have smaller triangles going on inside of larger triangles. So if it helps you to redraw the actual figure itself, absolutely do that. So what I mean by that is if I took the little guy, ABE, and then if I took the big guy, ACD, and if I added the length, so we have 3, we have 5, this is 3.5, this is X, this is Y, and from A to D, that's 3 plus Y. Okay? And then what you can do is, first of all, you see parallel. So we see this one congruent to this one, and this one congruent to this one. So you know the two triangles are similar by angle. So similar by angle, similarity, which means we can sort of highlight a little bit here. So this guy goes with this guy. This guy goes with this guy. And this guy goes with this side. So you can see what sides are going to match up with each other. And now you can create some proportions. So again, the two numbers who match up that don't need anything are the 3 and the 5. So there's your scale factor. So if we do the greens and then if we do the blues, 3 over 5 equals X over 3.5. Cross multiply and divide, you get 2.1. If we do the greens again, and now the Y's, or the reds, we have Y over 3 plus Y. So when you do that, just again, make sure that you are distributing. So we get 2Y, and Y comes out to being 4.5. Okay? You don't necessarily need to redraw and color in, but it's definitely helpful, and it makes it pop a little bit more. All right, first thing I'm going to do is make this a decimal here. All right, so again, similar idea. We see these parallel lines, so we know these are congruent and we know these are congruent. So these are similar by angle, similarity. If it helps you to redraw the triangles, absolutely do that. Because it's definitely, I'm just trying to figure out where I can put them here. So if we do M, Q, N, and then if we do M, P, O, they're in the right order. So this is 5, this is 6, this is X plus 5, and this would be 9.6. And if we're only solving for X, the two that match up would be the 6 and the 9.6, and then the 5 and the X plus 5 would go that way. So we get 6X plus 30, gets us 48. Okay, and then when we solve and divide, you should end up with X equaling 3 for your final answer for that. All right, what happens with 5 is we don't have one inside of the other, but we see this set right here, they're congruent, and we know we have a vertical angles right here, that they're congruent to each other. So what you could do is set yourself up a similarity statement so you can see who has to match with who. So we see that triangle WRS is similar to triangle TRV. And then that would allow you to see who needs to be highlighted. So that one goes with this one. This one goes with this one. And this one goes with this one. And then you ask yourself, okay, which two match up that have nothing that deals with letters? So I'm going to go with the 8 and the 10, which they're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to reduce that to 4/5. And there's my scale factor. So that's my SF. So I'm going to do, okay, so I'm going to do 4/5 equals, and now I'm going to do my reds, x plus 6 and 2x plus 6. Cross multiply. You're going to have to distribute both sides. So you get 8x plus 24 equals 5x plus 30. 3x equals 6. So x is 2. But now this question wants to know WR and RT. So WR is x plus 6. So you're going to sub the 2 in, and you get 8. And the other one is 2x plus 6. So when you sub the 2 in,